hear you all as well.
On then. All right, so thanks so much, Sam. So I'm going to talk today about my experience of retraining in Infosec for this community channel. So here we go. So the obligatory, who am I? So my name's Kimberly Hendry, and I'm currently studying a master's in cybersecurity. I'm a member of the Tech Mums group, and also the co-founder of the Northeast Ladies Hacking Society. So yeah, I'm going to talk about sort of why and how I got interested in information security. So my journey through education, trying to build skills, and then how it ended up in a job. So yeah, the first thing I did was I took part in the Tech Mums initiative. They've moved online now, but the aim of it was to have events around the country trying to sort of teach women and mothers sort of technical skills and sort of teach them tech, thinking if they could be more confident using technology, they can then go home and teach their children it, and also encourage women into the community and to retrain. The course I did was over at Gosforth, and we did sessions on things like Python, safe banking, security, social media use, which was really interesting for a lot of the older mums whose children were starting to get social media accounts and didn't really know what to do with them or how to secure them. I guess it moves quite fast, doesn't it, really, things like TikTok and Snapchat. We also had a session on web design, and so a bit of HTML, tinkering about with that, and also got to go to Hedgehog Lab over in Newcastle and do a few design sprints with some app design, which was amazing. That was so fun. So from there, we also got invited to a tech conference, and the one we went to was Dynamo over in Sunderland, and that was pretty much, I think, where I fell in love with cybersecurity. There was some live hacking demos from students there that simultaneously terrified me, but also blew my mind. I was just like, what is this? This is fascinating. And just to see it happening in front of us. So there was a few different ones, but the main ones that stood out were some students using Shodan and showing how they could scan and find different IoT devices and then find the exploits for them, and ones that were set with default credentials. It was also part of the talk on the collision of 5G and IoT, which I think before the pandemic was the big worry. And then also there was a demo on some website spoofing. So one of the students sort of showing us sort of behind the scenes of phishing campaigns, and did a live demo of spoofing a website. And it was also, I think, like building on things like Cambridge Analytica and WikiLeaks that were still in the news. So it was quite a timely thing. So from there, I decided to start doing some online courses. I think I just pretty much Googled cybersecurity courses because I love online courses. I've worked in them for years, worked in education and then assessing and tutoring online courses, writing them. So I feel incredibly lucky living at a time where we've got access to all this information online. So looked on FutureLearn, does a really good introduction to cybersecurity. I think it runs quite regular, and it's written by the Open University, so it's of good caliber, and it covers things like network security, cryptography, malware, like the importance of multi-factor authentication. And so that was a great course. I often refer back to it, actually. Udemy as well, they do some free courses and some paid for ones as well. And Cybery, they show career pathways. So if you're interested, they do lots of introduction ones, but if you're interested in, say, being a SOC analyst or threat intelligence, they do the pathway of different courses all linked together to build your skills that way. And then building on from the Python we did with Tech Mums, I joined Code Academy and now Code First Girls that do lots of online programming courses. So also as well, decided to sort of seek advice about retraining. I'd worked in education for probably about 10 years, and just, yeah, this had really like lit a fire inside me. And so I thought, actually, let's see like where I can go from here and building on these courses. So I spoke to co-workers or friends who worked in tech companies and just said, do you know anyone who works in cybersecurity? So got to chat to people. Yeah, there's lots of interesting articles online and webinars with information. Definitely utilize LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn's wonderful. There's a few people mentioned it yesterday, and I'm also not affiliated with it, so don't worry. But I just think, yeah, there's some amazing articles posted and people really interact. And I guess you don't even have to actually connect with people. You can just follow people, and people share articles and opportunities. We had Chani on yesterday talking about the boot camp she did with the SHISO executive course, and actually got onto her boot camp. I got a scholarship for it a few months ago, and that was all come through LinkedIn, seeing her posting about it, and contacted her and applied that way. So that was an amazing opportunity to be on training courses and webinars with CISOs from around the world. And also the opportunity to set up the Northeast Ladies Hacking Society. That came through LinkedIn. That was where I'd heard Eliza May Austin, who runs the Ladies of London Hacking Society. I've heard her on a podcast, found her amazing, then found her on LinkedIn, and then she just posted, I'm thinking of expanding the society. Is anyone interested in setting up a chapter in Newcastle or other cities? So I contacted her, and from there got in touch with Catherine Cardos, and so we set up the Northeast Ladies Hacking Society, and we've had 2 events so far, and they've been we've got OWASP Newcastle, ISC Squared, the new DEF CON Newcastle as well. Going to events like that, chatting to people, and people get their phones out and say, oh, we've listened to this podcast, this episode's great, this episode. So that's a good way of doing it. Yep, on a note on podcasts, and I was trying to explain to my mum what a podcast is, and I think I'd read somewhere that it's a radio program that no one can stop you making, which I thought was a good way of explaining them. So from all that, I decided from doing the online courses and speaking to people, I decided for myself to go down the route of doing a master's. So yeah, I'm near completion of the master's in cybersecurity, and it's been like really, really hard, but very, very interesting as well. I've put on screen a few of the modules we did. We did 4 taught modules. like a good breadth of things, really. But also on the side, I thought it was important to work on my technical skills. So I took part in things like Hack the Box, signed up for Try Hack Me, Immersive Labs. That's good because that's you can sort of run their virtual machines on their browser, so you don't even have to download anything. And yeah, there's lots of beginner ones as well, and starting to notice a few of the meetups are setting up groups together to start like things like Try Hack Me together. I think our hacking society, the Ladies Hacking Society, we're setting up a new Hack the Box team, I think. Another thing I didn't realise is actually once you become a student, you actually get access to other courses, which I didn't realise actually. So as part of the Masters, we were invited to take part in a boot camp that was run by the Institute for Coding and Digital Union in Newcastle. So that was, it was using, what was it? So it was like working with developers, so lots of computer science graduates, and working on solving business problems. So went around a few different local businesses. So we went to Orange Bus, which I think is gone now, Hedgehog Lab, I think Drummond Central, they came to speak to us, Sunderland Software City and Cool Blue, so a few advertising agencies, just to talk about working in the tech industry. And then we did a project for NBS, the construction company, and had to present at their headquarters. So yeah, that was a fascinating experience because I'd never worked with developers, and to be in a room with them and hearing the language, I mean like programming language, not bad language, but yeah, hearing the language was quite a challenge, but a really, really good experience. Also, the Institute for Coding do lots of online courses still. So they're constantly running Python courses and app courses, web app security, I think was the last one. And I mentioned earlier Code First Girls. They do lots of paid for courses that anyone can join, but actually if you are a student at a UK university, you actually get free access to some of their courses. So this week I'm about to start a new web development course. Feels like it taking me back to my MySpace days and using HTML to make things pretty in CSS. So yeah, I think it's important to think if you're retraining, I guess you're different from just being a student, or you're not really just starting from fresh. You're not starting from no skills. You can often transfer the skills you've got. So I think that's quite valuable. I've put on the screen ones from speaking to people, what they think is needed in the industry for the different roles. Definitely say curiosity is quite key as well. But yeah, these are just some skills that people have recommended. Yeah, so in summary of the actual Masters, I'd say, yeah, it's been an amazing experience. And with it being a year-long course, which I did as side by side while I was working, it was good to like take time to read things. And being an adult learner is like such a privilege when you see people there who have gone straight from school to college to uni, and yeah, they don't even want to be there or something. You just think, oh my goodness, you're so lucky to be here and to be sat almost being indulged with chatting to people and learning things in such an amazing environment. Yeah, the ability to make mistakes there and not have it bring down an entire system, that was yeah, really, really valuable. And also there was definitely quite a diverse group on my course. I wouldn't say diverse in gender, because it was just me and one other girl. It was all men, but diverse as in there was lots of police, data scientists, lots of computer science graduates, but yeah, like an interesting mix of people. And also it definitely teaches you like a high level of report writing skills, and we had to design lots of infographics, which we use a lot. We've always used a lot in education, sort of trying to distill down complex issues into something quite accessible, which I think's quite needed and used in this industry. And then obviously presentations as well, we do lots of those. The only bad side is that you often hear like, oh, you don't need a degree to do this and do that, which is totally fair and totally is, you see it, don't you? Because even like Ben was talking yesterday about him not technically being qualified for all the things he's done, technically as in like doesn't have the actual piece of paper, but that is still a route as well if people want to do that. Myself, I'd always fancy doing a master's, and so yeah, and there was lots of people on there who either building on current work experience, or just wanted to retrain and use it as like a conversion course. They seem quite popular at the moment, sort of computer science or cybersecurity conversion courses. But I would say that, as it was touched on yesterday with Sam and Ben talking about qualifications and experience, like that is definitely seems to be needed for a job. I think it seems like even entry level jobs at the moment, there's quite a few want some sort of experience. So I'll definitely say it's good to chat to people and try and get some work experience while you're doing all this studying as well. So yeah, I'm actually currently working in research, so doing threat intelligence research, mainly into the energy industry. And yeah, so use things like meter attack, and then using this research to write white papers. I actually have to say that it's the first time actually that I've been a little bit scared of all the things I've been learning about. I've always been like, oh, well, this is what it is. But actually, I think, yeah, the threat landscape for the energy industry is actually quite scary. There's lots going on. Like there's actually an interesting episode of Cyber War on Vice TV that talks about Ukraine and Russia and their use of cyber war using an energy plant. So yes, things like activists and cyber terrorism and state-sponsored attacks, it's all quite, yeah, it's quite scary, but very, very, very interesting, and just quite an eye-opener to be part of it. So yeah, so I think in conclusion, I would say from my experience in speaking to people, it is such a fast-paced industry, which people spoke about yesterday, about sort of can bring on a bit of imposter syndrome, and I guess even more to people joining the industry. But actually, I think that also makes it sort of like an accessible part of it, because it's so fast-paced that someone working in one part might not have been exposed to another. So things like cloud and cloud security, that's a really good way of getting into it, because it's still quite new and evolving. And it feels like there's a real push for diversity of thought and people's experiences as well. So I think that's a good time. I'll definitely say look out for events like this, like B-Sides and Cyberfest. Even, yeah, there's lots of online virtual ones, isn't there now, because of the pandemic. And then use the online resources. It's infinite, really, the stuff on there, and the varying quality. But again, if you look at what people are posting on LinkedIn and Twitter, there's usually sharing some decent stuff. I definitely say try and get some work experience if you can. Lots of people are encouraged to sort of speak to people in the security team where they work, because I work for different colleges. Well, I used to. It wasn't very practical to do that myself. but I managed to get work experience from sort of joining the community and speaking to people. And also keep an eye out for things like role models and mentors, even sort of unofficial ones. There's so many people I've reached out to and just been like, oh, this is really interesting what you've posted. Like, how do you get to do what you're doing? And people are usually very willing to chat and like happy to share with what they're doing. Yeah, I think that's it really. So I've put on my LinkedIn and Twitter because, like I said, talking about community, and I've spoke about speaking to people, but if anyone would like to speak to me or send me a message, I'm very happy to talk, and yeah, anything like that. So thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?